Hello, teachers, and welcome back to my channel. Today I got some little special. Standing up, got a little board back here because today my goal is to help you realize how to prevent yourself from burning out by creating a work and a life balance, work and life balance. It's difficult for many people. So this video is not, although I'm talking to teachers and new teachers, this video is literally for everybody. Anybody who works, working mothers, especially working mothers, anybody who works or they're having a hard time balancing work and life, because there's life outside of work. And although we're supposed to be working to live, it's literally the other way around based on how we design things. We're really living to work. Okay, so I can show that to you, and I can also break down to how you can do what's best for what you have. You can make the best with what you have, the time that you do have. So let's go over his little math lesson. Okay, this is my zone. I'm in my element. Okay, I'm talking numbers now, but with sense behind it. Okay, so there's 24 hours in a day. Sorry if you don't understand my italicized, chicken scratch handwriting. Yes, I am a teacher. Yes, this is how it looks on my board. Don't judge me. Okay, so anyway, 24 hours, day and night, because you literally do not have 24 hours of daylight. Okay, excuse me looking at myself, which is the phone, because it's this way, and actually looking at you, which is that little dot on my phone. Okay, so just excuse that. So anyway, back to what I was saying. You have 24 hours, day, night, okay, of day and night. Let's just say they're half and half. You have 12 hours of day, 12 hours of nighttime. Regardless, you have 24 hours to work with, okay? So let's put that time in actual perspective. And if you've never done this before, although I'm doing it and I'm showing you the breakdown, do it for yourself, because after you do this overall umbrella windows of time, you need to go within that time and say, okay, so how can I schedule my day? So of course, I'm always going to give you what I think and what works for me, but you're always going to have to do what works best for you, because your lifestyle might not be like my lifestyle. Okay, I am a working mother of 3, which that can be its own channel all in itself. Back to the stuff. So let's just say you wake up in the morning. Okay, what time you wake up? You're going to get ready. It's going to take you about an hour. So if you could beat me, if you can get ready in an hour. I can get ready and be ready. And I have children in an hour, because it doesn't take me a long time. I'm telling you. When you learn, you don't have to do all that. You don't have to do a lot to get a lot. So it could take me an hour. So I'm in this one when it comes to getting ready. But let's just say the average person takes between 1 to 3 hours to get ready. Okay? So that's 3 hours gone. All right? Then after you get ready, and when I say get ready, I'm talking about get up, wash your face, brush your teeth, eat, get dressed. Some of you guys do a whole spiel with this and a whole spiel with this. See, as you see, I have locks. I don't do much, okay? I don't do anything, okay? I woke up like this. Let me stop. Anyway, so yes, it takes you between 1 to 3 hours to get ready. And everybody's routine should include whether you shower at night, shower in the morning, do both. That's your prerogative. Brush your teeth, you're doing that. You're doing that. Washing your face, and then you're eating breakfast. I fast. I intermittent fast, okay? Little tips. Like I said, that's my own little channel. A little health journey. And then after you brush your teeth, wash your face, get dressed, eat, whether you don't eat, drink a coffee, go stop and get a coffee, you're going to take between 1 to 3 hours to get ready, okay? That's just getting ready for work. Make sure you do all the things before you actually get to work, all right? So now you're at work. So you're a full-time teacher, okay? You are spending at least 8 hours in the building. Although our shift might be like 7.57 hours, if you were to clock it, you can't come to school the same time the kids come to school. And if you are, that's not a good habit. I'll tell you that. I don't think that's healthy for anybody. Just jump in and come on, let's go. Give yourself some downtime, some prep time. If you're a morning person, you're probably going to be there an hour before, okay? Maybe even more than that, all right? I do know some teachers like that. I give it to them, but I'm going to make some points in this video, all right, about how I do it. Okay, so you have 1 to 3 hours to get ready. You're at 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours at work. So if you go there an hour before, you work an 8-hour shift, you stay an hour after, you're at work for 10 hours. So that's 10 hours of your day gone, okay? Then you say you're close to the school. So I know some teachers who are like right across the street. They're like 5 minutes, but that's, not many people are in that situation. But a short commute will be 15 minutes. So I put 30 minutes there and coming back. You in the city, you could be right around the corner and it still take you 30 minutes, okay? So between 30 minutes and 2 hours is your commute. Between best case scenario, that's not even some people's worst case scenario. Some people drive longer than an hour. I used to drive an hour and 30 minutes to a school district that I used to work at. Now, I'm not name dropping yet, but I will eventually. So anyway, 30 minutes to 2 hours of commute. All right. Then you have 6 hours to 8 hours of sleep. Please get at least 6 hours of sleep, adults. Okay. I don't know who can with anything, but I'm just going to use some common sense. So all humans, whether they want to or not, will eventually fall asleep. If you realize if you don't sleep, you get sick. And actually, if you lose sleep, there's studies out there that say that you really can go crazy, okay? So you want to make sure you get your sleep, especially teachers, because you need that, all right? You need that balance. You need that rest, because the other people know is that teaching is a very physical job. You're using many skills at one time, okay? I don't even want to lay it out for the new teachers because I don't want you to overwhelm them, because a lot of them you're using simultaneously and naturally, okay? So we're not going to go into depth, but just know that it's labor, okay? So you need to get rest. So make sure you hit at least 6. Don't do 4. It's not worth it, okay? We don't go into it to 8 hours. So I did all that to show you. You are literally spending, if you were to add up all these hours, okay, let's use chunk and math skills. 8 into 10, another 10, that's 20. That's 3 hours. And this is the worst case scenario. You're spending 23 hours in a day. And guess what we did not calculate in there? When you going to eat dinner? Do you have family? Because you only have an hour to eat dinner, spend time with your family. Oh, and time to decompress. If you could do all that, okay? If you go to church, got any extracurricular activities, scratch that. Does your kid have a basketball game, or one of your children have extracurricular? Or maybe it's not your children. Maybe it's your niece or your friend. If you're in a worst case scenario, you just spent 23 hours in your day, okay? So now, if you are in a worst case scenario, say this really is your school, all right? You have some room to negotiate your lifestyle with reduce your getting ready time, okay? Cut some of the unnecessary stuff out, or do some stuff at night, which is still cutting the time. And 8 hours of sleep, you might end up probably reducing that, because here's what's not a non-negotiable: the hours you work, unless you own your own business, okay? Or in your commute, you can't really control that. This is just without traffic. If there's a traffic accident, then that's out of your control. Remember, we do not worry about the things that are out of our power and out of our control. Release that, okay? Release that. That is unnecessary stress. You can't control it, let it go, okay? If you can't change it, let it go. All right. So, let me tell you what I do as a teacher. Now I'm going to focus just on the teacher part of it. Work stays at work. I don't care who likes this or dislike it, because it's studies out there and you see it, experience. Just working, overexhausting yourself, working more is not necessarily better. Quality always over quantity. There are countries where students go to school less, will out-test the mess out of our students. I'm talking about American babies. I'm talking about all across this entire country. All right, they go to school for half the amount of time, yet they're on a higher curriculum. And yes, you have to compare apples with apples. I'm talking about the leading academics, STEM, science, technology, okay? Curriculum is also dated, all right? Just speaking facts. Feel how you feel about it, okay? So work has to happen at work. That means be as productive as you can at work. Everything has a time block. You commit to that time block. And this is when you notice, and I'm telling you now, all teachers been teaching for years. Now they're in a groove and they understand you will not get to everything. Everything is not going to get done. Even the people who run the system and know this, and who actually has been in the classroom, understands that everything they put on your plate it's not actually realistically possible to actually complete with all your other expectations if you're trying to be an effective teacher. Okay, because your number one goal is to teach your students effectively. Okay, not just throw lessons in front of them, is to actually reach them and meet them. So you have to meet them in order to reach them, period. Okay, other than that, you can have all these great lessons and standards. It doesn't matter if they're not learning anything, and they're not going to learn anything if you're burnt out and tired and you don't have any type of balance. All right, and you're feeling overwhelmed. A lot of teachers quit for that reason. The pandemic really put a smack in it, but this is like the highest teacher walk off, and it's not just teachers, it's a lot of careers, but teacher walk off. And I'm telling you, our classroom management and work-life balance, if those two were fixed, I can promise you, I don't gamble, I don't bet, so I'm not even gonna say it. I can promise you though, they would have way more teachers in the schools, and it won't be oversized classroom and teacher shortage, because that's going to create another level of burnout. Back to what I was saying. Okay, so when you do this, create a schedule. When you are teaching, you teach, and you teach your tail off, and don't forget, it's about your students. All right, if you have an objective, start assessing your objectives. I'll create a video about breaking down objectives, because if you're going by state standards, those state standards, that is not a one lesson type of objective. You're going to have to go over that particular standard in like maybe 20 something lessons for certain standards. And I'm not being sarcastic, I'm being literal, because there's prerequisites that's needed, and if your students don't get it, it's going to go over their head. So if some schools are very organized, they know this, and they will set you up for success. Some schools who are still districts who are learning things and they're trying new curriculums, you're going to bump into some things like, wait, they had to know this before I even introduced this to them. So making the best of your day is first making sure you understand what it is you need to teach and how you're going to teach it. You teach when you're supposed to be teaching, okay? When you are supposed to eat lunch and take a break, then you take a break. It's not healthy, although yes, they do it. You have meetings, IEs during lunch. It's not a good practice. It's not good. That's going to create teacher burnout, because you're never getting the time to decompress. If you're at this schedule right here, you only have an hour to do everything else that a human being is supposed to do. It's not going to work. So you have to set your boundaries. I don't care how you do it. You have to set your boundaries. That should be on your priority list. Make sure those things are done. Anything extra that needs to be done, that wants to be done, right? But it really doesn't actually add the value to the effectiveness of how your students are going to perform, then that's the thing that gets at the bottom of the list. I'm going to tell you mine. You ready? Bulletin boards. That is not about the students. That's about everybody else coming in your building and seeing what they're learning, and it's really a show, okay? And I think it's great, and I think it's wonderful when you have time. I think they should hire people to do bulletin boards if it's really that important, because that's at some people's top of their list. That's at the bottom of mine, okay? I'll be honest, but what's important is before I do something outside of my classroom, I'll make sure what's in my classroom is there for them to learn. Now, I'm speaking on the teacher's behalf, and whether administrators or anybody else who might come across this and don't like this, they actually would appreciate and love it that a teacher will put what's first and last longer in their building, so that it's not a high turnover rate, okay? I'm speaking from my heart, okay? Straight from my heart. No script, nothing, off script, all right? There actually is no script, by the way. So make sure your work is work. When you go home, I'm telling you now, especially if you're here, You don't have time to work at home. I know some people actually say, well, you're a new teacher, you're supposed to do all this. What if you're a new teacher with a family? No, you can't. Because let me tell you where you're replaceable. At work. If something happened to you, they're going to fill your spot the very next day. If something happened to your mental health or physical, because mental will tie into your physical, something happens to you physically, who's going to replace you at home? I mean, it's not like your kids just get a whole nother mommy, because then there can never be another one of you, okay? I mean, period, in life. But in the professional realm, you're replaceable. At home, you're not, okay? So you balance that out. They are as important as your career. You're working to live life, not living life to work. So they will have to take a back seat. It's good. And this is for anybody. This is administrative. This is anybody who is working. Work is work. Okay? If they didn't put you as number one, then they should not be number one on your list. All right? That's just balance. Okay. All right. High five. That was my goal to find. Rightfully so. Some things you do need to earn your way in order to think. Like, you can't come in there like, well, I'm not doing that. Nope, that's not the attitude I'm telling you to have. But what I am telling you to have is to set boundaries, reasonable boundaries. Like, you're a human being, you need to sleep boundaries and eat and spend time with your family and make sure that time is easy. Now, I didn't set a time limit for this video, and we're getting past that mark, but hopefully I didn't lose anything. You watched it all the way to the end. Because this was